first, I'd like to say thank you for you all. Literally could have been anywhere in the world. You rocking with us. We truly, truly, truly appreciate it. We have some wonderful things in store. Everybody got your pen, you got your pads, you got your notebooks ready? Cool. So we're gonna hop right into my endearing panelists. The first question is if you can share 3 skills that you have and one thing that you're passionate about, that would be wonderful. I got y'all, I'll start. 3 skills, running my mouth, building team, yeah, y'all laughing, y'all know what time it is. Building teams, execution, my 3 skills. The one thing I'm passionate about is making cultural compositions through Lego bricks. Maddy, what's up?
Yeah, thanks. Let's see, 3 skills and one thing I'm passionate about.
Yes.
I'm a writer. I think I'm a good leader and manager of other people. And a 3rd skill might be I know what I'm not good at as well.
That's a major key. I didn't even get to those yet, but cool.
And something I'm passionate about, I love books, I love literature and writing, so that'd be my, yeah.
Yes, come on, people who read, yes. Let's go. Y'all can clap for that, for sure. We like reading.
I have common sense.
Whoa, let's clap for that
important.
one time.
Very important.
Sheesh.
I listen. I'm a good listener. And I'm a problem solver. I look for problems and I try to find efficient ways to solve those problems. And something I'm really passionate about personally, I'm a creative, so I love filmmaking, telling stories through film.
Cool beans, thank you.
Okay, so 3 things I'm good at. I'm also a good listener, and I feel like I just had to say it anyway. I'm a great thought partner. I love to work with other people and help evolve an idea. And I'm really good at making space for people to have their feelings and then to like, let's move forward. So those are 3 things I'm good at. And one thing I'm passionate about, and this is something that I've become passionate about in the last few years, is supporting neurodivergent creatives as well as neurotypical creatives, just working with people across all neurocognitive styles, because a lot of folks struggle, get overlooked, and not as supported as they need to, so that's what I'm really passionate about.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. So first things first, how did you get into freelance work and what is the work that you do?
Okay, maybe I'll invert those questions.
Yes.
The work that I do, I'm a graphic designer and web designer and web developer. I also write, but which is sometimes part of my work. So kind of like a jack of all trades, creative person, and I got into freelancing. I graduated relatively recently during COVID, and the economy was quite bad, and it was really hard to get a full-time job. And so I bounced around quite a few places, but I was always kind of working on the side, freelance, or working independently in some capacity. So I feel like it was a relatively easy transition into being a full-time freelancer. When I discovered I was actually quite good at managing my own time and my own projects, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question? I'm a little freaked out by the whispering that's happening.
Listen, I'm happy you acknowledged it, because I was going to let it fly, but now we know the elephant is absolutely in the room. We all hear it. We're going to talk a little bit louder, and it's going to be all good. So thank you.
I was wondering if I took my medication this morning.
Yes, you all good. We with you, baby. The question is, what is the work that you do? And what is your entry into freelance work?
Sure. I mean, I'm the executive director of Freelancers Union, and we are a nonprofit organization that behaves like a union for independent workers. Unfortunately, in this country, independent workers do not legally have the right to unionize within a workplace, because as an independent worker, you are technically an independent business, and there are federal laws that prohibit businesses from coming together because they could be accused of price gouging and other things of that nature. So we've done the work over the past 30 years of trying to create a space where you as an independent worker can get those same benefits of being in a union, getting access to one-on-one member services, right? If you're encountering an issue along your career, maybe not getting paid on time, we're here to provide that support. And a myriad of other things. I never had the pleasure of being able to fully freelance full-time. Actually, when I got involved in politics very early out of college, but as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to be a filmmaker, and when I learned about the Freelancers Union, I always thought of myself being part of that organization at some point, because I thought I'd be doing freelance work as a filmmaker. But I did get involved in politics, and it's what led me to where I am today.
Good, thanks. Justine.
So I'm a business coach for creative entrepreneurs and freelancers, and I got into this. I moved to New York in 1996, fell into the creative industry, as you know, only a British accent can help you do, thank God. And my first business was in 2006, and I became an agent. I had been working for another agent for 8 years. I'd gone as far as I could go. And, you know, I figured I was sort of in my early mid-30s, and I thought it's now or never. And so I decided to start my own business. I've never considered myself a freelancer. And I'm going to say something a little controversial.
Let's go controversy.
I'm going to say, don't call yourself a freelancer. I think you should call yourself a small business owner, because you get treated differently.
We could clap it up for that. Sure.
You get treated differently if you're a small business owner. You do not get treated like a pair of hands. You are not interchangeable. You are solving a problem, and you get paid to solve that problem based upon your value, not upon your time. So, still love the Freelancers Union, and I'm still a member since 2006.
Hello. The beautiful thing about language is that as a small business, you can also define how you charge based on the language that you create, right?
That's right.
So it's different if I say, hey, I'm trying to think of something like really, really razzle-dazzle. I am a teacher versus I am a educational consultant. The language is different, right? So I'm going to have a question, Maddy, for you, and Justine for you, and then I'm going to reimagine that question for you, Rafael. So as small businesses, I love language. We just flipped the script. As small businesses, what is one challenge and one kind of like major key as a small business? And then Rafael, as someone who runs essentially the Freelancers Union, what are some challenges that you often see with people who are small businesses?
Me first?
Yeah, go in.
There are lots of challenges, which is why you all are fantastic. It's like you're all doing things that other people can't do, don't have the guts to do, so kudos to the folks who are going to go out on their own and do their thing. There's a lot of challenges, and many of them are things like insurance, right? It's like the things that, like, well, lots of times we get a job because we need the insurance, the health insurance. And just managing the business side of things. Like, I'm a business coach. I'm not a coach, I'm a business coach, because creativity, you all have got that down, right? You're masters of your craft, you're going to become masters of your craft, and that is the easier part to hone, but creatives don't think they're good at business, is my experience. You all are. You can't teach talent, you can't teach style, aesthetic, any of that, but you can teach business. It's not that difficult. Like, we just think it is. So learn the fundamentals of business. That will set you up. You will be able to negotiate better. You will be able to set yourself up in good stead. You'll be able to ride the ups and downs, because there will be ups and downs. That's how it goes. I've gone on a tangent. What was the question?
I'm with you. Challenges and what are like beautiful things?
So many beautiful things. You have flexibility, you have freedom, you get to work with, and for the women in the room, you get to work as long as you want to work, with who you want to work with, and you stop when you stop. You don't get put out when you're 53 years of age, which seems to be the magic number, you know. So you have freedom, you have flexibility, you can choose to use your gifts and to hone your gifts and to choose who you want to share those with. And my biggest piece of advice, not that you asked for any, is
Oh, I'm going to be asking for some, so let's get it. Let's start.
is just like make sure you're solving a problem people have. Don't take your talent and then try sell it to people. Figure out what they need and then package your talent so that it solves a problem.
Y'all wrote that down? That's the key. Y'all got that over there? All right, cool. Maddy.
A big challenge and then a big benefit of being a small business owner. I'll just speak from a personal basis because it's just probably best to have an example. But yeah, I would say, health insurance is probably like one of the biggest sticking points for people who want to work for themselves. And it is a big, complex problem, but you can simply buy your own health insurance on the marketplace. That is the solution. You can have a partner who has health insurance, and you can be covered on their plan. Those are two kind of really straightforward solutions. So it's like first I did one, then I did the other. And I've like worked for design studios who have like even more creative solutions. Like at somewhere I worked, like they did all the materials for a dentist's office, and in return they got dental care. So like there are even more creative solutions than the two I've listed. But yeah, there are a lot of resources, especially in New York State, for figuring that process out. And there are also things, a lot of people I think get some sticker shock. I've had friends who like want to go freelance and then they go look at the health marketplace and they like look at the sticker prices and they're like, that's way too expensive. I'll never be able to afford that. And it's like, well, they don't know that New York State offers like an advanced premium tax credit based on your income. So they often subsidize a vast portion of that monthly fee for you. And it's actually costs much less than you think. And you can have some pretty decent workable insurance, and not break the bank. So I think you just be persistent with those issues and like talk to people on the phone. There are people there to like help you figure it out, make sacrifices in your budget, move things around. I've had to do all of the above. Because to segue into the second part of the question, I love working for myself. It's really important to me. The second I started doing it, I was like, I'm never going back.
I'm never going back.
I'm never going back. And I've figured a lot of things out and ramped things up very quickly to make that possible for myself because it makes my life the way I like it to be, which is like at my own pace. I don't like waking up in the morning and like having to be somewhere at 9 a.m. I do like when I finish work for the day and I'm tired to just sort of be done. Like these just sort of really basic, ways of structuring time are really important to me. And it gives me the flexibility to do like other creative things like writing that, maybe if I was working at like Microsoft or Google or something like that, like long hours, I like wouldn't be able to do. Yeah, I've talked for long enough, but maybe that's...
We with you. We with you. We're here. Thank you, Maddy.
It sounds lovely.
Right?
I love it. Yeah. But I guess just to piggyback off of what some of the things that were said, health insurance, what we've learned from our members, is like the number one, right? Concern and issue, especially when you have that cushy 9-to-5 job and you're like, well, I can't leave this job because then I'll lose my insurance packages and how am I going to get paid for health insurance? So we as an organization try to tackle that issue by scouring what's in the marketplace, what other creative like companies are doing and trying to create more affordable health insurance options, and we curate that for you. So if you become a member, you're able to see what we were able to find to save you loads of time and trying to figure out what's best for you. And then I guess I'd also say in terms of that, like, I think we also should all be aware, and I encourage you all to reach out to your local legislators because the big government shutdown that happened on the federal level over the past few months, one of the sticking points has been the healthcare subsidies, whether or not those are going to continue to be extended or whether the federal government is going to fund the state of New York, for example. So while the subsidy still exists up until the end of the year, there's pressure that's trying to be put on legislators to bring that up for a vote again, to extend those subsidies moving forward. So if you're freelancing, I encourage you guys to reach out to your legislators on that as well. But another issue I guess I would touch on is the issue of non-payment. Right? I think there are a lot of clients or a lot of folks that hire small businesses or independent workers or freelancers and believe that because your hobby is to design or your hobby is to shoot video, that they can use your passion for your work and not have to pay you at the end of it because somehow they're giving you exposure or they're giving you opportunity to hone on your skills. So we found that only about 30% of freelancers actually use a contract every single time that they work with a client. So that means 70% of independent workers out there are not working with a contract. And what happens there is that if it comes to that point where you're trying to collect from that client, now you don't have any written proof showing that there was an agreement. And if you try to go to small claims court, you would not be able to collect on what you're owed. So we encourage everyone to always have a written contract in place. Here in the city of New York, there's a law called the Freelancers and Free Act. And what a written contract, and what the Freelance and Free Act does is actually, if a client doesn't pay you and they're not responsive to your emails, you can now dial 311 and the city of New York will help chase down that client for you. And we were able to rewrite the rules of what is a written contract in the city of New York. And a written contract can be as simple as a text message outlining the work and how much you're going to get paid and the whole scope of work. So yeah, insurance, non-payment, and the benefits, I think, came from the experts, right? It's like being able to work on your own time, work for those who work for clients you want to work for. We heard a lot about childcare, right? Now folks don't have to pay thousands of dollars to put their kids in pre-K or whatever program it is and worry about whether their kids are going to get home because they're now working at home and being able to provide that childcare and save money on that. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
I will say working with children at home is not possible, but yes, theoretically.
It's difficult, yeah.
Right. I'll hop into some of the challenges as well. It's like what I've realized is when to say no. You got a big brand. The big brand is like, oh, we're worth $1 trillion. We want to pay you $4.39. But we can hit you with some exposure, though. We'll put you all on social. We'll put you in the press. I don't know about y'all, but my landlord does not take me being in the New York Times as payment by any means. So that has certainly come up. One of the great things has certainly been to work with people that I enjoy working with, and that's magical. Another challenge is figuring out rates. You know what I'm saying? Like when do you say, okay, I'm gonna take this project because I might be passionate about this project, because I see the potential in the client and the project, et cetera, versus I'm gonna absolutely charge you $25,000 for my service. Is no negotiation, it's a wrap. So, just as we're thinking about those sort of things, what are some, and y'all already started touching on, like the major keys, but I actually want to touch on the major keys around getting clients, right? It's cool to be a small business, but what actually makes you a small business is having a client paying you some money, right? And so if we all can talk a little bit about, like, how are you going after clients? How do you decide what clients to go after? I love what you brought up just as far as solving a problem. If you solve a problem, you will always have money in your pocket, always, forever, until the end of time. So if we can discuss kind of like getting clientele and what that consists of and what you've seen from your small businesses that you have under the hub as well. Oh, they said, Rafael,
Yeah,
you should go
I
first.
guess. I
Since everyone's looking at you.
Yeah,
Right.
I get this question asked a lot, right? And it's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's looking for clients.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for work, and I think you touched on it. One, if you approach it from the angle that I'm going to help you solve a problem,
Yep.
that can extremely up your chances of being able to find work and get work. The freelancers we've hired is because they identified a problem or a shortcoming the organization has had,
Yep.
and I'm like, oh yeah, we do need a new website redesign because we're gonna, whatever it is, and we end up, and they'll pitch it to me, and we end up hiring them to do that work. So I guess I will also touch on these freelance marketplaces that exist out there. A lot of entry-level freelancers rely on these platforms to help find gigs. We're kind of wary of these platforms because they are global work platforms, and what they've done is create a race to the bottom environment, right? So now you're able to hire someone from a country across the globe for like a quarter of the price of what you would charge a client, right? And that people are lowering their rates here in this country because they have to compete with the person who lives in a place where the cost of living is a lot less than it is in the United States of America. What we try to encourage is first, lean on your network, right? Who are those folks in your current contact lists that can benefit from the services you're going to be offering, right? And then then after that, of course, once you identify those folks, ask them to help you identify folks, and you start building that repertoire and growing your client base. That's just one piece of advice that I would give.
Cool beans.
I think that's excellent advice always, to be nurturing your network, especially when you're starting. And you sort of need someone to give you a shot when you're first starting out, right? As you start to get more things under your belt, I always say to folks, when you, and I'm not sure, are people starting out or are people established, or are we going to mix?
So if you're starting out, you can throw your hand up. If you're starting out, okay, cool. If you're like kind of been here before, I'm a little bit of an OG in the game, you can throw your hand up.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So I'll speak to both. At the beginning, it makes sense to just take all the jobs, because you're going to figure out what you're good at, what you like, what you don't like. You're going to just iterate as you go, right? So that's how you're going to get that data and that information. And you're going to get good, right? That's how we build mastery, is like doing lots of jobs. But as you start to become more senior and you start to get good at it, you start to figure out what you like, that's when you want to refine your target, right? That's when you want to like lock in that value proposition, which is, this is what I do, for whom, this is how I do it, and this is why it matters. You must know why it matters to them, not to you, right? So one of the things I always talk to folks about, whether it's your messaging, your marketing, flip everything around and say, what does it do for them? What do they get out of it? And talk about that. Don't talk about your process unless it matters to them. Don't talk about your awards unless it matters to them, and it doesn't, right? So they're good for credibility, though. So marketing and sales. Don't be shy. If you're not marketing, you're not getting sales. If you're not getting sales, you don't have a business, okay? So get good with that. People always say to me, one of my most popular Freelancers Union webinars is marketing for creators who hate marketing. Because everybody does, marketing and sales, right? So just figuring out what works for you. It doesn't have to be being on social media. It could be, like I do, giving webinars, doing things like this, putting yourself, being of service.
Being of service, come on.
Produce information that supports the people you want to help, and then a fraction of those people will hire you. You don't need 1 million clients. You need 10. So figure out how you solve a problem, create lots of information, content that supports folks, be of service to them, help people out, don't work for free. And I think that's a really good foundation wherever you are in your business. I started writing, in fact, this comes back to the Freelancers Union again. One of the best things I ever did when I started my coaching business in 2010 was I reached out to the Freelancers Union and I said, I'd like to do a guest blog post for you. And I had to pitch it all the time, and I was writing new content for Freelancers Union. I was writing other content for my blogs. I didn't have anything to, I had no body of work yet. And every now and again, I would do one, and then I was just like, why don't I just ask them if I could pitch them a monthly blog? And they were like, sure. And I was like, could I do a webinar? And they were like, yeah. And this was in 2010, and 15 years later, we're still going steady. But these are things I do for free, right? But it is of service, but it also builds my visibility with the people who I want to support. So service, visibility is a practice that won't steer you wrong.
Yeah. We're a member-powered organization, so if anyone wants to provide similar services that you think will be useful for the freelance community, we would love to talk with y'all.
Come on, Freelancers Union, let's go. I will hop in, and then I'm going to pass it to you, Maddy. I would say one of the things that's been super, super helpful, Issa Rae always talks about networking across. Oftentimes we want to go into an organization, we're like, oh, who's the VP of so-and-so? But if you realize your mom's best friend's daughter is the manager at A, B, C, D, and E, it might be cool to, you know what I'm saying? Start that relationship. Always keep in mind and share with people often around what you have cooking, what you're working on, and just being a human always helps. Yo, how's the dog? How's the kids? How's your mom? So when you see people and you actually need a favor, it's like it's rooted in something versus, oh, this person always reaches out to me when they need a job. They need a job all the time. They ain't finding these clients yet. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that is certainly true, and definitely leaning in on problem solving, right? So Most Incredible Studio, we create cultural compositions out of Lego bricks. You're probably like, how do we get clients? We think about culture. Our clients are museums. Our clients are sports teams. Our clients are people who have IP, which is intellectual property, that needs to be reimagined in a new way. So when I'm pitching to a client, say my client is a sports stadium, I'm saying, hey, you might have A$AP Rocky at your event, and guess what? A$AP Rocky loves Lego bricks. What if we could create a one-on-one X for A$AP Rocky? Now the head of marketing, the PR people have their eyes open because they're like, Dad, we've been trying to think of how we could get Rihanna in the building, and how we do that is by honoring our boy A$AP Rocky. You know what I'm saying? So those are kind of like two things that I've learned around like getting clients and also just building relationships in such a way that people will keep you top of mind because they're like, oh, Edward does graphic design. So-and-so is a chef. Marley is a sneaker seller, et cetera, because you've consistently run your mouth about it.
How do I get work? How do I get clients? I feel like people talk about your network as if it's this like mysterious thing, but it's basically just your friends in like an expanded sense, especially when you're just starting out. I know from my own experience that all my important, my most formative, important work experiences came through like, a friend putting in a good word for me, I get the job, or they passed along a job that, they didn't want and I took it or something like that. The first graphic design studios I worked for, my friends already worked there, and I worked for them. I interned for them first, and then, was promoted. So yeah, I think just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, I think people have to like really like you. So, it really figuring out how to be well liked is like, I think one of the most important things. And yeah, maintaining your relationships, but like it has to be real. It has to be with like, people you really like. I think the most important like work experiences will come out of that. You don't want to be at a company with people you really dislike. That sucks. And it also sucks when you work for yourself. So yeah, I think whether it's like with people at school or with people in like your early jobs, like stick to the people you gravitate towards. There's like a reason for that. And yeah, a lot of my work now comes from, people I worked with or a friend who's now working at this big company, or, people go off in their own, all in different directions, and you end up having like knowing people in, a myriad of places. Yeah, like I'm here tonight through an invitation from a friend. So yeah, I guess pretty simple, answer, but.
Don't be a jerk and shout out to your friends. Got it, nailed it. I think often doing this work when you are a small business, you have to constantly like promote. How do we keep the confidence going? Like how do you run a whole union filled with millions of people, right? Like there are often times where it's like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna get this next gig. I feel like I got the juice. I'm not really sure if I have the juice. So let's talk about confidence for a few, and how do you consistently, essentially keep your word in your mouth?
Okay.
I guess.
So how do you keep your confidence when you maybe don't always feel so confident?
100%.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome?
It's a good question. I always feel like don't let them see you sweat. If you're not feeling confident, you kind of just don't let them see it, right? Sometimes you got to like have a little bit of a front externally, and then you can, go and talk to your people and say, ooh, and then they'll say, don't worry about it, you've got this. Or if you don't, I think if you don't have it, like we should always be stretching. I was reading The Practice, I think, who commented on me reading that? The Practice by Seth Godin, right? Yes. And he says that he has imposter syndrome all the time, and we should have imposter syndrome, because if you don't feel like an imposter, you're not stretching. You're not pushing yourself into something you don't know how to do yet. So everything that we do in a leap requires a leap of faith, where you're in that territory where you're not confident, but you believe you can do it. And so I say, like, it can be tricky when you're on your own, because sometimes you have to kind of dredge it all up yourself all the time. But surround yourself with good people who believe in you, and hype other people up.
Come on, say that again for the people in the back. Y'all heard her? Yeah. Say, repeat it again.
Hype people up. Hype
people up. Yes, that's one thing we are gonna get on this panel. You and you and you. This is kind of random, but not. Does everybody in here know who Patti LaBelle is? Please put your hands. Yes. Okay. Let's go. For real. Okay. Bring Patti up here right now. Now, I read, I either was watching an interview or I read an interview when Patti LaBelle was saying that she gets nervous all the time. Patti has been performing for probably as long as everybody in this room has been alive.
Collectively.
Everybody in the room. Come by. Nah, let me stop. But for somebody who is brilliant at what they are brilliant at, she's been doing it for, like, her career is 70, 80 years long, and she gets nervous. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me have a shakes and figure out my life. Anybody else want to share around confidence, staying confident, instilling the battery in other people's back so that they can walk with their head held high and remind themselves who they are?
I think first and foremost, you have to do your own temperature check and making sure that you're not being burnt out and you're taking time off to yourself to really ground yourself and center yourself and remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing, right? I think anyone that you can point to that has been extremely successful, it just didn't happen overnight, right? They did the cringy thing that we were all afraid to do. They were persistent in whatever they were posting or whatever outreach they were doing to a person. So just looking at those stories of success as examples of what it takes to get there, and remind yourself that success is not going to happen overnight. I think that can help you get over some of those hurdles sometimes. And then lastly, I guess it's just always having, again, going back to your network and having a strong circle of people that are going to be supportive of you. And push you, and people you're gonna be able to talk to when you're facing those challenges. Because at the end of the, I found in my own experience, when I've been in my own ruts, it was always someone I knew that kind of gave me the piece of advice I needed to hear at the right moment, whether it be my barber or whether it be my sister, right? So being open to receiving criticism or advice, I guess, has given me sometimes that little fuel I needed to get me to the next stage.
Yeah, and I guess also just don't sweat it too much. It is just work also at the end of the day, and there are many important parts of life, and work is just a part of that. I always had an instructor in school who would say, people, were getting very worked up about their graphic design projects, and she would always be like, well, it's just graphic design, it's not open heart surgery. Right. I'm like, if you're an open heart surgeon, then you can sweat, but otherwise, you're fine. Yeah, I don't know, don't take yourself too seriously, maybe.
Cool beans.
The one-liner.
Cool beans. I think another thing that we often experience as people who run small businesses is we might be excellent in one area, and there's 9 other areas that we kind of suck at, right? Like Maddy, you had mentioned one of your skill sets is knowing the things you are great at and what you are not so great at, right? And so oftentimes, if you have a creative profession, you might be a brilliant graphic designer or a muralist, but you these taxes, bruh. Nasty work. Or how do I figure out health insurance? Or I have 42 1099s. I got a fake W-2. I don't know what's happening. Like somebody told me I need QuickBooks. QuickBooks is $30 a month. I'm not making $30 a month yet. Like it's all of these kind of like business things that, you know, Justine, that you were talking about earlier that we might need to consider. I have realized it is helpful in being vulnerable around where you actually are so that you can generate the support you need, right? Like, hey, whoever does operations, bless your heart. Not your girl's strong suit at all, right? But recently, my homeboy came on in the COO capacity, rearranged my whole business. I'm out here like systems, tools, contracts, all the things, right? And had I not kind of like shared my experience with him, he might not have offered, you know, the opportunity for me to get my life together with something that he is brilliant at, right? So if we can talk a little bit around like, all right, we know the things that we are excellent at. How do we kind of solve for the things that we are not excellent at outside of going to like a resource like the Freelancers Union, outside of having the time and dedication to call 311? Y'all know calling 311, grab a Snicker. Y'all might be there all day trying to talk to an agent. Calling the IRS, you're going to be there all day. I could have got 12 clients waiting for this IRS lady, and then she don't got no information. Lord, have mercy. So, yeah, if we could talk about that, like creating that balance a little bit, that would be wonderful. And then we're going to be hopping into Q&A real soon. I know y'all got some amazing questions.
I guess just to continue off of what you were just saying about systems, right? And a lot of freelancers get into freelance because they have a skill, right? And they want to use that skill. I forget what part of the brain it is, the left or the right side. But
it's one of them.
You use your right side of the brain, and you're not too well versed in the left side of the brain, or vice versa, whichever it is. You know, we encourage people to look for those tools that exist out there. There's so much tech that could make your life so much easier now, right? Yes. ChatGPT didn't exist for a long time, but people are using it as a thought partner to help solve some of these questions, right, when they're working at home. We were having a discussion about how it's not always reliable, so don't believe everything you read from ChatGPT. But there are these tools like QuickBooks and things of that nature that help you organize your invoices, help you invoice people on a periodic basis, so you don't have to worry about all of this back-end work and the overwhelming process of all of that. So yeah, I would say just find what those tools are and lean on them. But then also, again, just go back to your network. We all know an accountant. We all have a cousin or a brother or someone who does accounting work. Your cousin might be
kind of scandalous sometimes, so you might not want to go to your cousin.
Right, he's going to teach you all the tricks.
Right. You're going to have 97 dependents.
Right. But then to also touch on taxes, there's so many tax tricks that apply just to independent workers that a lot of independent workers don't know about, right? Like that train ride you just took here to be at this webinar, you know, that is a work expense because you're here educating yourself on how to improve your business, right? So there's a lot of little things that you can tap into like that also to help continue to grow and support your business as you move forward.
Tax jar is a real thing that I just learned about 6 months ago. Blew my mind. Shout out to that. Anybody else?
Yeah, hire an accountant. I recently just, this isn't, like necessarily like an entry-level thing, but I, just have started like hiring my friends to help out on projects that, there are parts of being a graphic designer that I'm great at and parts that I'm not so great at. And so, I'll like bring a friend in and there's room in the budget to, have them do X percentage of the project and like they really make that sing and then I'll pick it up or like something like that. But yeah, I think outsourcing, especially the financial stuff, unless you're just like an absolute whiz, you really need like a CPA, especially if you have an LLC and you're running your own business. So don't underestimate, the power of the CPA. They're like my favorite people. So.
And even if you get a CPA, does not mean you no longer need to learn math.
That's right.
Right? Because you can have a CPA, but as somebody who owns their own business, you want to be able to be like, okay, I did this, I did the third. What do my books look like every month? I've realized after a lot of interesting experiences that habits are very important. So how you even think about how you move with your money now is gonna reflect inside of your business as well.
So, and this is again not maybe a sort of entry level thing, but it's something to think about is think about what your zone of genius activities are, right? And those are the things that come so easily to you that you think everybody can do it. That's the thing, A, you should be charging the most for, and it's what you should be doing the most, right? You think it's easy peasy, it's not. So identifying what those things are, even if you are wearing all hats at the beginning, when you first start out, you're wearing 6 hats, you're doing 6 jobs, and like, it's just the way it is. But if you know, okay, now I'm graphic designer hat when I'm really not a graphic designer, or now I'm bookkeeper. Yeah. And then you figure out what are the things that I want to own ultimately. And then thinking about how can I create roles for other people to do that. One of the best things I ever did was hire a virtual assistant. It was way before I could really afford her, but she's been with me for probably 8 years now. And we figured out, I was like, okay, I want to have this piece of the sales process. I want to have this piece of the marketing activities. I just want to show up to a sales call and then you do the rest. I want to show up to a coaching call and you do the rest. And it's a combination of people, processes, and technology. I can do a whole lot with just me and a virtual assistant. We run the whole business. But it's because we've got the systems and the processes. We've got the technology, which is everything's a $20 subscription every month. It's like there's a gabillion of those, the more you do. So that you can operate in that zone of genius. So even if you're doing all of the things at the beginning, you don't want to stay doing all of the things because then you can't grow. Like, I can make a lot more money coaching than I can trying to figure out QuickBooks. Yeah. I got no business doing it, okay? That's my thoughts.
For sure, for sure. And thinking about, you know, where you were versus where you are now, right? Many things you might be at OG at QuickBooks now. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm still not.
Oh, okay, cool. Know yourself. But thinking in hindsight, out of all of the things that you have learned to do over X number of years, your time doing graphic design, running a whole organization is no easy feat, et cetera, what would be the top 3 things that if you're like, yo, if I started today, if I went to the crib right now and I had $40 for 2 subscriptions, what is possible? So the question is, if you were to start today and you had 3 things, what would the 3 things be on your top of list, regardless of what the industry is?
Shall I start?
Yeah, go on.
Since I'm still talking. Personal finance, we talked about this. Yep. I'm not a QuickBooks expert, I use FreshBooks actually, but even then I'm not an expert, but get your personal finances in order. When you know how to do personal finance, you know how to do business finance. It's no different. And so I use YNAB. You need a budget. It's fantastic. It's a way of budgeting that I sort of learned pretty recently, but you allocate money. And then when the money, it's just fantastic. Try it out. So that's great for personal finances. I've also figured out how to use it for my business as well. FreshBooks, have a bookkeeping software. And I guess it really depends. Like for me, because I do a lot of writing and content creation for intellectual property, all the rest of it, I use Canva for all of my presentations, and I use MailChimp for my newsletters. I've been sending a newsletter ever since I started my business, and that's probably why people find me. On Google, it's all organic search because I wrote a blog since I started my business. And that's one of the best ways to show up in searches. I show up on ChatGPT searches now, and it's not because I'm doing a lot of marketing, I'm just creating a lot of long-form content. So whatever your thing is, lean into that and get that subscription.
Cool beans. I guess I could hop in real quick. I would say one of the major keys is like being honest with yourself. Do you actually want to run a project or do you want to run a business? Those are 2 different situations completely. And I think being honest with yourself, like, I don't really want to be a big-time CEO. I don't want to have 475 clients. Like, I'm cool with 2 clients that give me $100,000 a year, and I'm good, and it's a project. I know what it is. It's copy and paste. I think that's a major key. Another major key, again, knowing what you are good at and what you are like, actually, I'm not the one for. I gotta find somebody else. That's certainly a major key. And 3, because I want to say the finances, but yeah, I think we drilled that home, huh? Yes? I would say sales is a very interesting thing. Like, you could read a ton of books on sales. I've been grateful to have an experience where, because of my relationships, people are like, hey, Syreeta, I'm working on this film project. You want to be a producer? Cool. Hey, Syreeta, I'm working at this museum. Hey, you want to curate something? And so my life has consisted of that. So I would say maybe the key is relationships, relationships, relationships. Don't be a jerk. Relationships, relationships, relationships. Ask about people's families. Like, genuinely be interested in who they are, and while simultaneously sharing what it is, the work that you are doing in the world. Is there another?
So a lot was touched on, especially important ones. So maybe I'll just add a little more to what was said. And when we talk about finances, especially coming in and running an organization, or even if I wanted to start a new project, I think the first thing I would do is imagine how can I create this thing or run this thing as lean as possible, and what would that look like? When I say lean, how can I do this with the littlest money as possible?
Yep. Right?
How can I be a freelancer for an entire year? What is the minimum base salary I can survive on, and try to build a client base to hit that level? Because then, for me, in my mind, mentally, after that, everything is extra. Everything at that point, beyond that, will be able to help me grow and kind of create a more comfortable, I guess, lifestyle for me, when you go beyond those numbers. And that's the same with running an organization, right? What is the minimum amount of people? What is the minimum amount of money we should be spending in order to provide the best possible services to our community? And then after that, how do we grow from there? Because again, everything after that will be extra, and it'll be added pleasantries for our members, right? And then second, in terms of marketing, I always like to have a good camera around, something that could shoot good video and photographs, because everything now is content, right? Even if you're a graphic designer, you have to post your content, whether it be what you're designing or whether it be you behind a computer designing something. People just want to see the process of whatever it is you're doing. And then last, I lack structure, me personally. Right? I have a creative mindset. Like I think outside of the box. I color outside of the lines. So for me, it's going back to my network, and I always try to find that one person, that good friend or that good staff member who loves structure, who loves coloring within the lines.
That's right.
and who has trouble thinking what life looks like outside of the lines, because that person will help keep you grounded and also help you do things correctly, but also understand what the limitations how can you grow beyond those limitations as well.
Cool beans. Maddy?
These are some really important touchstones that I rely on. I just have 2. Much ground has been covered. Personal finance is huge, but I would say the ability, something I always come back to, is the ability to write a really warm, personal, compelling email. It will really set you apart. And the ability to get on a video call or show up to an in-person meeting, in the rare and pleasant case you get to do so, and really charm your clients, your collaborators, whoever you're speaking with. Really charm them, put them at ease, and gain their confidence. While knowing maybe they're having similar meetings with, whether it's a job interview or a pitch for a project, they're having similar meetings with other people, but yours is going to be the one they remember, and why, and what can you do to make that happen? I think having those 2 skills in your pocket, you're never going to have a problem. So.
Cool beans. I appreciate that. Clap it up for our panelists one time. Cool beans. So right now we're going to take questions. There's a mic here on my left and my right. My left, your right probably. There's a mic. If anyone has any questions, now is the time. We have Justine in the building. We have Rafael in the building. We have Maddy in the building. I'm your host, Syreeta, your host with the mostest. And we will try to answer as many questions as possible. And if you have a question to a particular panelist, again, Justine, Rafael, Maddy, Syreeta, Gates, let's get it. And you can start with your name and what you're doing in the world.
Thank you very much. My name is Warren Watson, and I've been a freelancer for many years. A cameraman, soundman, producer, writer, actor, and model. And so I've been freelancing for so long, over 25 years. And I want to thank you very much for saying that this is a business. You are an independent business. You are no different than the accountant or the welder or anybody like that. And that's what I think people have to learn. The creatives have to start to realize this. And you need to learn how to negotiate rates, how to write a contract, how to write an invoice, what to do if the client doesn't pay, and those types of things. You need to think like a business person, not just as a creative. So I don't really have a question. It's just that I would like to thank you for finally saying that.
Yes, we love gratitude over here. Thank you, Warren.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. We're gonna hop to this side. If we could keep them kind of like short and sturdy, we love gratitude. We're gonna be here for a while, yes, after? So we're gonna hop over here. Again, you're gonna say your name, what you're cooking up in the world, and we're gonna rock and roll.
Hi, my name is Alexis Brantley. I am a recent graduate from Purchase College, majored in literature and minored in screenwriting. And I recently built a small Black-owned business called Knit My Day in honoring of my grandmother, who recently was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. She was actually one of the best people in my entire life. She was an amazing woman. I mean, she's still here, but she's still an amazing woman to me. She learned 50+ languages. She has a huge memory when it comes to recipes that she cooks every year. And she also loves to knit and crochet the same way I do, hence the business Knit My Day. And my only question, well, I have a long list of questions, but.
We're gonna do one right now, baby girl. We're gonna do one right now.
Thank you. My first question is, what are the most common mistakes new freelancers make when juggling multiple creative paths, such as, for example, I want to continue with my Knit My Day business, but I'm also thinking about doing a creative writing blog on my short stories, because I'm also hoping to become an aspiring author moving forward in my future career.
Cool. I love to hop in. Yeah, I do 795 things. Do all of it. Do all of it. There's gonna be a point in life where something is like, we're gonna keep you over here. But now do it all. Like write, cook, sew, chill with your grandma. Shout out to your grandmother, by the way. Like literally do it all, but there is gonna be a point in time where it's gonna be like, I actually wanna put most of my focus here. But now you would have known that because you're like, the sewing is cool. I can cook 3 recipes. I'm not maybe the best cook. I'm chilling with my grandmother on a Saturday. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to kind of like figure out things more strategically and move with more intention when you're just trying everything out.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
Great advice.
What she said.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep, y'all can clap it up. Who's next?
Hi guys, my name is Trinity.
Hey, Trinity.
I'm a graphic designer also and a digital marketing strategist.
Yes.
You guys spoke about taxes just a little bit, but I want to know how you guys advise just like putting money aside for taxes and like how much you put aside and how you go about that.
Justine, let's
I
go.
will take that. The best advice I got when I started my business was from my friend and bookkeeper, and she said, take 25% of all of the money that comes in, anything you get paid. So if you get paid, if you do bookkeeping every week, take 25% of that, 30 if you can, and you put it in like a Capital One high yield savings account or something where you can't access it easily. You're going to be earning the interest instead of the IRS earning the interest, and that money's not yours.
And you're paying like federal taxes and New York state taxes,
Yes.
right? So
All comes out of that. So, and pay for an accountant.
okay.
It'll seem like a lot, but it will come out of that pile that you've saved. And it'll seem like a lot of money in there if you've been earning. You'll be like, I don't need that much. You do need that much. But then you'll never have that fear or that shock or that surprise. Like the money will always be there. So it's just don't touch it. She said, it's not yours, it's Uncle Sam's, and they will come after you.
Y'all got that over here, 25% in the pocket. Ish, what's up, sir?
What's good, Syreeta? Thank y'all for making the time with us today. I'm Ish. I'm an independent creative broadcaster for women's basketball. My question for y'all is, when you consider where you started to where you are now and where you see yourself going, what could you say about your relationship to risk and risk taking?
Yeah. Well, I always, when I think of this word, I always think this very intelligent friend of my family once told me that people often confuse risk and ambiguity. They think what they're seeing is risk, but it's really just ambiguity. Working for myself might sound really risky, but it's actually just ambiguous. What I'm going to be doing next month for, which projects are going to come in is ambiguous, but I can look at my, past X amount of years and understand that there will likely be work based on this track record, and if not, I can do this, this, and this. I can rely on myself in these ways. People often think, a job at Google or something like that is very safe, all locked up, nothing go wrong. And then, if you're laid off, maybe you get a generous severance package, maybe you don't, but where you go next can be, that can be a very risky position to be in as well. So I don't know. Maybe things aren't as risky as they seem, if you have yourself to count on.
And I guess to add to that, I would say, don't be afraid of taking risks, right? If you're not taking risks, you're not growing. But make educated risks, right? And also be comfortable with the risks you're going to take and what the consequences might be if those things don't pan out in the way you're hoping for, right? Are you okay, right? Are you okay with the failure that comes with taking that risk? And if you're okay with that, then I always like to take that risk or encourage people to take that risk.
Cool.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Ish.
Hi, my name is Eliana. I recently launched my events business where I host monthly events for creatives in New York City. We're actually hosting one this Saturday.
Let's go with the plug. Let's go. Where's that? Where's that?
We're at the Folly in Soho. If you would like to come, just let me know. Come up to me and I'll share the deets. But this is my second month, and I am very anxious to scale and get more eyes on it and get more people coming. And I have big goals for the brand as a whole. When do you know is the right time to scale? And I'm sure this depends on the business and the industry, but do you do it based on when you feel it, or yeah?
I have something to say about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like there's always something in the ether of what we should be doing, and scale is the word du jour. And you want to make sure that everything is tight and locked in before you scale it. Otherwise, you scale a mess. So dial in your audience, your value, how you're different, how it works, your processes, how are you delivering an exceptional experience to the people that come. Build your list, build your reputation. Because when you've got a reputation, you can go anywhere. But you scale too soon and it blows up in your face, that's harder to come back from, right? So I would say you don't even have to scale. You could, it's events, whatever, but I'm saying not every business has to scale.
Yep.
You could just create the best job in the world for yourself, and when you retire, you close the doors and you're done.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell it, you don't have to have an exit strategy. That's just one way, right? So I think it's really important that we don't sort of fall prey to what all the marketing bros are telling us we have to do.
Yep.
You
Bros
do what
are
you
outrageous.
want to do when you're ready to do it. But lock it in first and then grow it. And organic growth is great. Because also, if you grow too fast, you can't support it.
Yeah.
Did that help?
Yes, that was super helpful.
I'm gonna hop in there for 4 seconds. It's kind of the equivalent of when Oprah would share her nice things back in the day. And she like, oh, I love Justine's book, and it's the best book in the world. But Justine is printing a book herself. And so now she went from like 47 orders a month to like 597,000 orders a month because Oprah says she likes it.
Yep.
Think about all the things that you would need in that process to fulfill those 597,000 orders because Oprah says she likes your book. When also, depending on how much the book is, them 47 orders could take Justine to Dubai 4 times a year. She could go bring her family to a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? Because it could also be around, do you have a bunch of clients for the sake of having a bunch of clients, or is there a number goal that you want to hit, and you might just need to raise your rate significantly? Because you could say, oh, I want to make $400,000 a year. I'm going to charge my clients $50,000. So you have some things to play with.
Yeah, that was my question exactly. Like, how do you know when what you're doing is worth charging people for when it comes to events?
Run it up, charge, see what happens. For real. People either gonna say, yo, I'm gonna pay $10,000 or I'm not. And if that person is not gonna pay $10,000, there might be 4 other people who will. Always test it and see what happens.
Thank you guys so much.
No doubt. Good day.
Hi, how are you guys? I'm Jaquan. I'm a multimedia journalist.
Yes.
I actually go to school like right around the corner at Long Island University.
Hey, LIU.
My question, I guess, would be is, you know, being a freelancer, how do you set boundaries so that way work doesn't take up your whole day? And like, what motivates you guys to like, you know, keep working even though you guys are mostly alone? I feel like that's a question that can kind of go to everyone.
Oh, you're not alone. We have a free co-working space in Brooklyn.
Let's go, Freelancers Union.
You know, there's a lot of spaces that you can go and work with fellow freelancers, right? That can also serve as a support system, but also serve as folks you can network with. So you don't have to stay home. You have the flexibility of leaving your apartment and taking that work elsewhere. So I would encourage that.
Yeah. And that's a great boundary right there as well.
Yeah, 100%. Cool beans, just like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi.
What's up, Brooklyn?
How you doing? My name is Katema. I've been a freelance producer for like 4 years, but then I actually just worked with you on the Levi's commercial.
Oh, good, thanks. That's what's up.
One of the things that you guys said was solving a problem, like you're a problem solver. I've been working in the film industry, and there's just nothing but problems right now.
That's a fact.
So my question is, what are some things that you would suggest I could look for when I'm doing my research to find a problem to solve at like maybe a production company or a client or something like that? Like, what are some things that, like if you see this, then does that make sense what I'm saying?
It does make sense. So I'll just make sure that I understood it correctly. It's like, so how do you understand what the problem is that someone has so you can address it?
Yeah, like if I'm on LinkedIn and I'm like, yo, I want to work for this client, but I need to find a problem. I need to find a problem. What are some words or stuff I should look out for?
So one of the things that I have all of my clients do is to interview their best clients or people that they've worked with, and ask them, what are the things that you run up against all the time? What are the things that you need to get done in a day? What are the things that if they went away and you never had to deal with it again, would you be so delighted about, right? And people will tell you all kinds of things that you might think, oh, well, of course I do that. But it could be that like, I am like the nicest, friendliest, most easygoing, not a problem cameraman that there is. And they know that when I'm on the job, everyone's having a good time, everyone's taken care of, like there's never a problem, like the talent all feel good. Like that is a skill that you can leverage. And it's like, they don't want any drama queens on the set or whatever. So there's a lot of like soft skills. And I hate the term soft skills because they're not soft at all. They're like pretty much the whole enchilada. That you can bring your personality into it. So like you have a really good presence and I think you probably are a real asset to folks. So figure out like, how do you make their life easier? How do you make them look good? So it's less about going on LinkedIn and trying to like pitch yourself for a job and more about how do I shape the energy, the value that I bring to my job that other people who have the same technical skills as me may not do. Because if there's 2 jobs going or there's like 1 job going and there's 10 people who do what you do, they're going to pick you because they know that you're that good guy who's really great at what he does, but also brings this other thing.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Interview people.
Can I veg you back on that real quick?
Yes.
I would also say, in addition to that, if it's a particular company you want to work for, follow the people who work for the company. They'll share it all. So, for example, somebody reached out to me. He was like, yo, I've been following your work for mad long, da-da-da-da. In my hearts of hearts, I literally believe people should be of service, just as humans, right? But it also really helps as a small business, or not a small business, as a business period, right? So this guy reached out, yo, can I get 15 minutes of your time on LinkedIn? Sure, I saw we had a bunch of people in common. Sure, no doubt. He pitched himself, da-da-da-da. I said, all right, cool. He said, also, can I make some suggestions? Absolutely. You have this word spelled wrong on your website. This is spelled wrong. This, like, he gave me a list. And normally people would be mad. I brought him onto the team. He's been killing it since he's been here. So it's like, find the things that people were talking about and solve for those. If you're like, hey, I'm a gaffer, and I realize on the last 5 of my jobs, the gaffers have been complaining, why? Or the producers have been complaining, why? Or the directors have been complaining, why? Yo, can I get 15 minutes of your time? I admire your work. I saw you just did the bop, 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 bop. And just loop yourself in there expeditiously.
Cool.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Carly. I'm an archival producer. And
Yes, archives!
Love the archives. So kind of going off of that question, but given the challenging nature of media right now, I feel like every day is a layoff story, or I see friends that are like, hey, open to work. How do you build momentum during a really challenging time? And also, how do you stand out in the hiring market? And any advice in navigating a time like this when things are a little slow and you're just not really sure where to, to pick up and go?
Can I hop in this?
Please.
I'm an archive producer.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
I think one way, obviously, I've said it ad nauseum, talk to your people. If you have other archival producers, what projects are y'all working on, who's hiring for the projects, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's also helpful if you want to create a specific niche so people holler at you about a particular topic, right? So like the projects that I've worked on to archival produce have been around like Black and Brown stories, have been around hip hop specifically. And because I'm an actual archivist outside of just an archival producer, they know, oh, we could count on Syreeta because Syreeta knows where all of the photos are from 1987. Syreeta's cool with Ralph McDaniels from Video Music Box, so we'll see content that no one has ever saw. I think those things are helpful. And just constantly be in communication with people who are doing similar work. Who's doing what? Who's getting laid off? What production companies you want to stay far away from? And keep that going. I probably have more insight that you could holler at me after about.
Sure, definitely.
Cool.
Thank you.
you.
Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Dominic. Thank you guys for taking the time to be here today. You guys had a lot of really good advice on like how to stay positive and how to manage finances and things like that I think like will be helpful for me in a while. But I just moved here to New York about 2 months ago.
Welcome to the town!
Thank you. I'm enjoying it so far. It's a great city.
Yes.
But the thing that I'm struggling with is trying to get the ball rolling because I just graduated a few months ago, just moved here, and from a client perspective, right, it's a risk, like we were talking about risks, to, take a chance on some 22-year-old recent graduate with some experience, but not as much, and there's thousands of us trying to do that. So I guess my question is, if there's one thing that you'd recommend for like convincing someone to take that first chance on you when maybe you don't have a ton of experience yet, what's like the most important thing I can do to convince someone of that?
Be of service.
Yeah.
I do it for free. And be excellent. Then they'll give you money.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody else?
Especially at 22 years old out of college,
100%.
right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember being a young person, being eager and knowing or feeling like I already knew how to do the thing, right? And why isn't anyone hiring me? I have the experience, but going back to being of service, but also, building your own portfolio, right? Like investing your time, putting your work out there, showing what you're capable of so people can actually see. Like maybe you don't need the on-the-job experience, but if you can show that you're able to produce that work using your own resources, it shows kind of what you're capable of.
Cool.
And I have one other thing is don't be too proud to just take a job to make the money while you're building this thing. There's nothing more stressful than worrying about money when you're 22, like, get a bar job, like, be a waiter, do those things. I did these things and built the thing on the side, so you can just at least alleviate that financial, like, strain. And also, being a bartender in New York is a lot of fun, so, you know, there's also that as well. So,
yeah, and you could potentially meet a ton of clients. Like, if
Totally.
you're a bartender at the Four Seasons.
I like that you're aiming so high. Four Seasons.
Yeah. Shoot for the top of the moon, you think? Cool beans, thank you. And this is going to be our last question, but again, some of us are going to be here a little bit after if anybody wants to chop it up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fred Settles. I have a multimedia company that focuses on audio and video. My question is, how do you deal with delegating tasks, which y'all all spoke on, but also protecting your processes, like your intellectual processes and your ideas, your creative ideas?
How do you protect IP and delegate tasks?
Like, with delegate, like a lot was spoken on delegating tasks, like are you scaling?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how do you do both? Because that's kind of like a, I don't know.
Getting tricky.
Yeah.
sounds like two questions to me, but just kidding. Can I talk about the intellectual property, please?
For sure.
So don't be too protective of your ideas in many ways. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to start a blog because like someone will run off my ideas. And I'm like, no, like creativity is not a limited resource. The more you use, the more you have. Put your ideas out there. Don't be protective and always worry someone's going to steal it. It's like there are certain things where we do need to protect things, but not as much as we think we do. So I would say don't concern yourself too much and create. The more you have, the more you get.
It's like the ingredients to the sauce. I mean, like if you give out the ingredients, they feel like they can recreate the same sauce.
No, they can't. People have tried to copy other people, and it's like, I've seen people literally like take my stuff and do it, but they can't be me.
Yes.
Like,
Like specifically, I'm a DJ.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing that on social media, a lot of like mashups and remixes.
Yeah.
That are being recreated.
Yeah.
As you can get that.
But you can't remix the source. The source is the source. The source is the source, period. This is a random story. I'm gonna tell in like 4 seconds. Back in the day, when my whole commitment was getting fly, I was in high school, I lived a very interesting life. And people would ask me, oh, where you get your clothes from? Like the sneakers, I was traveling. I was going uptown, downtown, Switzerland to get jiggy. And my uncle used to be like, yo, tell him. I was like, nah, they can't, oh, come on, I gotta be the freshest one in the room. He's like, yo, tell him. Most of the time, they're never gonna go where you're gonna go. 2, they never gonna rock it like, they can wear the exact outfit head to toe, Dapper Dan joint, blazer, Timbos, fitted hat. Nobody's gonna wear it like how you gonna wear it. Give them the sauce. Give it away. Most people are not gonna do it, and if they do it, they never gonna do it like you.
That's right.
Yeah, don't be precious. It's all good. You got it, baby.
Syreeta, we have one more question.
We got one more in the back. Remix. Remember what I said? The last one was the last one. This is the last one.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for being here. My name is Mark. I'm the head writer on a streaming series that celebrates the 35th anniversary of the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act.
Let's go.
You can all
Y'all
see
can clap
this.
it up.
You can all see this for free on the website for free in a couple of weeks, leadonada.org. So thanks for, this is another example of the kind of obstacles. I couldn't get to the mic. I can't stand up that long today. Everybody in this room has very serious obstacles. Disabled have unique obstacles.
Yep.
My one question is, have you seen any pathways or improvements for disabled artists?
Say that one more time.
Have you seen any pathways or improvements for disabled artists trying to make their way through this?
Have we seen any pathways or improvements for disabled artists? I would say social. I worked on the Black National Convention many years ago. I was the EP, and we got to work with like, and this was when it was locked down, everybody was like inside figuring it out, and I had never been exposed to folks in so many different cities who are literally making it shake with whatever the disability is that they had. And I thought it was genius, and it literally opened my eyes, and I was like, you're lit. I'm just finding out that you lit, but oh, these 50,000 people that are ready, I'm behind.
I think that's another technology that was invented for or by us.
Yes.
Everybody else was like, oh, yeah.
100%. So I think the technology, I'm grateful for the technology, and now it has me cognizant to be as inclusive as possible, right? So even when I'm doing events, I'm like, yo, do I have ramps? When I'm doing content, I'm like, yo, do I have captions? So it makes me think about it in a new way just because I was exposed to it in that capacity. Anybody else?
And I know some of you already brought this up, so I know you're already thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm part of a coalition called Voices of Creative New York, and we're a statewide coalition that actually was just created over the summer. And the question of whether the disability community is going to be represented in this group was brought up. And we are working with a statewide, I forget the name of the group, but a statewide group that is going to be focused solely on the disability community in the arts, so that we can go into Albany early next year and start working on policy that's going to expand accessibility for folks in the state. So it's definitely on top of mind, especially for those who are behind the scenes doing the work on policy level.
Excellent.
And I would just add that, you know, I work with neurodivergent communities as well, so there's a lot of invisible disabilities that, you know, are starting to become, you know, brought into the mainstream a little bit more, and, you know, working with organizations and places that work with creatives and having accommodations and not, you know, just projecting onto them that if you don't see that someone has a disability, that they're not struggling. So I think that is something that I'm certainly very aware of as well in those ways also. And it's definitely a part of my future goals to be very vocal about that and to try and educate folks and support folks in being more inclusive for all humans and all creatives, so that we can all work together and bring our different experiences to art.
And hopefully what you were just asking that question, now it's time to bond for folks. So shout out to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. That's a wrap.
All right, everybody, can we give it up again one more time for Syreeta, Maddy, Rafael, and Justine? All right, hope you guys learned a lot, because I did. We hope to see you all on Thursday, December 4th, right here at 8:30 a.m. for the 9th Annual Women in Media Summit. All right, have a good night, everybody.